spent my first assignment in Florida and numerous assignments thereafter around the world, most notably in Korea.
I'm a helicopter pilot is my basic background within the Navy. I've had a number of tours, both flying and non-flying at sea.
I work with families and folks with neurological disorders.
I've been privileged to be part of the Warrior Salute program here at CDS Monarch to support veterans, helping them regain their lives.
So I was the infantry company commander here at the local reserve unit, and that's where I deployed out of with about 200 Marines.
Went to school in Vermont, Norwich University. It's a military academy. Got commissioned field artillery, and then from there I've traveled the world thanks to the Army.
Veterans didn't take the approach that one day was enough. It was every day of the year, every hour of every day.
I'd like to think of every day as Veterans Day, and the fact that we try to do what we can for those that have served.
To say thank you, and thank you to the families as well.
It's really the individuals and reminding myself and others about the price of freedom.
In my case, since I'm still active duty, it's also very much part of my legacy. As I look to the veterans, those are the role models that I've had throughout the years.
We as veterans have the sense of being soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines at heart.
You know, in the national holiday structure, I think one day is enough, but I think every day we should celebrate our veterans.
Veterans are the people who have protected our liberties and what we're able to do every single day.
I always think of my mom telling me to not stare at vets, and then one day out of the year we'd go and just stare at veterans.
We have such a rich military history in this country, and we have so many heroes in all generations.
We need to welcome our veterans home.
Well, the very least thing we can do is put our arms around them. Say, welcome home, thanks, and say it in a genuine way.
Everybody else that was with me on that particular flight were quite floored that so many people were out there to shake our hands and welcome us all back. And I said, they've been doing this for 20 years.
That seems maybe trivial. Oh, they don't need that. Lots of people will tell them that, but it makes a difference.
We're the best community in America for helping veterans and their families transition from that, high-paced military lifestyle where everybody's kind of doing everything for you and you've got that regimented schedule to
coming back to a civilian life and not being able to have that brother that has that shared experiences to your left or right.
Civilian life is more about I, and I think the more we can learn from the veterans about the value of being team members and living as team members and watching out for each other.
What I love about being in this community with all the higher education providers we've got, all the different services, and the work that we are able to do with government is that they're not on their own. We're here for them.
I know a group of veterans that are working together to try to have that one team, one fight mentality and put the left hand together with the right hand to bring to bear, to bring to assistance every aspect, housing, education,
legal, employment, higher education, to try to address some of the challenges confronting some of our service members. But more than providing these services, what we need is for service providers to work collaboratively, and that collaboration is truly the key so that no veteran falls through the cracks.
Coming back, just daily activities like driving.
Taking care of the car, paying the bills, mowing the lawn.
Daily activities related to work and the ability to function at work became difficult.
When we were in Iraq, we drove like there were no traffic rules. You basically get from point A to point B in the quickest, safest, most expeditious way possible. And if that means getting up behind someone that's going a little slower, maybe bumping them on the bumper a little bit, believe me, there's been days I want to do that here, but you just can't do that.
We need to have jobs, educational opportunities, family support, and a commitment that we are going to be there for these men and women.
We need a strong military. We need people to want to serve in the military, and the way we treat our veterans directly relate to the willingness of people to serve.
It's even prior to coming home is sending letters, sending mail, sending care packages. You don't think that stuff really helps, but it does.
My father served for a few years in Germany.
My father did serve for 3 years in the Air Force.
My grandfather was a World War II vet.
My father served in the United States Navy.
My dad was a World War II veteran.
My mother was a cadet nurse, and my dad was in the Army Air Corps in World War II.
My brother served in both the Army and the Air Force, and I'm very proud of both of their service.
My husband was a Vietnam veteran. He was a medical corpsman.
So it's that family support group that's really important, is helping the spouses back here, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Behind every soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine is a wife, a husband, children.
It's a great honor for me to be the father of 2 soldiers, but it's also a little scary sometimes. I mean, when you put on the uniform and perform your duties and serve among the band of brothers and sisters, that's one thing. When your kids do it, it's an even more daunting, I think, experience.
They're the ones that are worried, staying up all night. My wife Julie had our first child just days before I deployed to Iraq. I got to see Hannah for a couple days and then left for a 7-month deployment. They should get everyday credit for any day that we're not being celebrated.
Thank you for your service, because it's important. It's important, especially when we're home, knowing that people care for us.
I appreciate what they do for this country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we appreciate the work they're doing.
Thank you for your service to our country, for choosing to serve our country in uniform.
I think it's a little different when you're still wearing the uniform. It's just, oh, they're just doing the same thing I am, just doing our job. But we realize it's more than doing a job. That what we ask our servicemen to do is sacrifice.
When I came back from my last year in the military, I drove from Fort Bliss, Texas back to New York State. Anytime I stopped for coffee or for anything, always a free cup of coffee, your money's no good here. Well, I always try to just pay it back a little bit. You know, it's not easy being a service member, but I think there's a lot of people out there who appreciate the uniform and what it stands for and the person wearing it.
Every year for Memorial Day, my son and I, we go over to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial over in Highland Park, and we were walking in. There's a Vietnam veteran. He was in uniform, and he was handing out, some of those small flags, and he gave a flag to my son, who was up on my shoulders. And we shook hands, and I said to him, thank you for your service, and we talked for just a minute or so, and my son asked me, he said, well, who is he? And I said, well, he's a hero. And that was very nice of him to give you that flag, and you should really take care of that. So he held it, all day while he was there. When we got home, my wife and my 2 daughters came out, and it was really touching. My wife came out and said, "Oh, Ashton, you got a flag. Who gave that to you?" And he said, "I met a hero who's a friend of Dad's, and they shook hands, and he gave me a flag, and this is mine now, and I'm going to take care of it." And it was really special. He still has it in his room.
Just shoot the breeze and thank them. Just at Eastview Mall the other day, there was a World War II veteran selling a book. I went up, shook his hand, and just always an honor to talk to the greatest generation.
I'm proud of our service of our veterans. I'm proud of what our country stands for, and I'm very proud of the freedoms that we enjoy today. There's no other nation in the world that can say that, but nobody is like the United States of America.